Hey guys, back with another Maplestory video here. This time I wanted to go through Hard Archon, our first clear, kind of review what we did, how it went so smoothly. If you've seen it in stream, you heard our voice comms. I have the video on our voice comms out as well. But I just want to go into a little bit in more depth on our strategy and our thought process and why we did the things we did, especially in phase 1 and phase 3. Okay, so we'll get into it here. Starting right away, no cutscene, and you want to stun split immediately. Just get burst out, okay? Get your damage out. And the stun timing is a little bit weird, okay? He doesn't spawn right away. The shadow comes up, he's not hittable, can't hit him until right here, which he's got stunned because of our shade, but he immediately dashes. So just be aware of that. The stun timing is a little bit awkward. You just don't want to miss it. So we stun split here, manual burst. Sheesh. Look at that Night Lord burst. Okay, and we wanted to get it to go left here. Unfortunately, it got a little bit clunky here. Went right, but our goal was to get it left because it's easier for the aggro to see the pools on the ground and just control it better. Okay, so there's two things that we did here that a lot of people had questions about, that I still think I'm still figuring out what the best strategy is, but one aggro on the left. Now, if you want to have 2, 3, you need 2 or 3 more DPS, fine, but don't get everyone over there. It's just unnecessary. You can make up the DPS in phase 2. Okay, so you don't have to get it all out in once in phase 1. So basically what happens is this purple is going left. This is obviously the HP bar of the boss. Now, what you want to notice is this purple bar goes right for a few reasons. Okay, damage taken from Archon, any attacks. So it's going to do continuous as well, just from how much HP it has. So this is all charging just from attacks and just over time. Now what the 9 of us on the right side are doing here is standing. There's a few options, but what we did was we had everyone just really stand in the middle of the statues. So you'll see here again, what the statues do is the gauge naturally fills on its own. But if you stand on a white statue, it's going to go down. And so this isn't a big deal at all in phase 1. You see over here, it's going up on its own just by the boss. But you'll see once this gauge fills, 16k. This thing hits for nothing. Even if it hits everyone for 16k, it's not going to kill anybody, okay? So don't overreact to this, but you'll see what it does to the gauge, okay? So watch this. As these explosions come out and hit everybody, it fills up even faster, okay? See? It's slowly going up again. Every explosion. Damage to the rest of the team is going up, which isn't a bad thing, okay? I think you guys need to understand this. So whether you stand on the purple and you create these explosions, because standing on the purple statue will also create this to go up faster. In phase 1, it does not matter where you stand. You can stand in the middle, you can stand on the purples, but just make sure that you have a white statue available for when the screen crack comes, because that's the only safe place. No iframes work for the screen crack. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, okay? No iframes do not work. So you'll see here, people actually end up dying, okay? And I'll tell you why. So with this little, when it targets, the boss targets somebody, okay? Right here with this scope, you see this? He ends up going to the corner. It not only hits everyone in the corner for about 200 something K, okay? But it also has the possibility of creating crystals on the ground. You'll see a little pool on the ground over here off the screen. They tick pretty hard, 32 Ks, they're pretty fast ticks. So you see actually a few people die. So that person kind of, you can kind of figure out who did that, but they kind of sniped people in that corner over there. But I would say phase 1, the strategy is just make sure that not too many people are doing DPS over there. It's not necessary, and it's just get to phase 2. The risk over the reward, because what happens is if Archon starts, attacking people over here, and the pools start forming and people just start wiping and dying, it's just wasted deaths, right? Those are avoidable deaths. So I would say, like, if you can keep the, like, even here I'm eating the pools in the corner. I ended up popping I think he used an iframe there or something, but you just want to see, like, if he's dashing back and forth in this corner, just hitting everybody, the crystals are forming, the pools are um, killing everybody. It's just unnecessary. We did no damage in that last minute and a half, and it's totally fine. Not because our team is stacked. Yes, because our team is stacked, but also you'll see that you can make up for it in phase 2. So what is phase 2? So just phase 1 is mainly just make sure you have white statues available for this. Keep aggro on the left, keep them alive. It's really hard to survive here. You might need a pocket healer. You might need your bishop there to put fountain down and heal. That strategy definitely makes sense. But don't snipe people and avoid killing everyone with that kind of targeted attack. So right here, the banner comes up as they meet. Just get in a white statue. Okay? Easy. There it is. And now, the nice thing about this strategy, again, is if you have a shade specifically, or, you don't, you get to phase 2 with over 2 minutes left. Okay? Which is nice because everyone's burst and cooldowns come back up. Make sure you manual this. Okay? Manual your cooldowns. So now we stun split again. This is a whole new boss. Split works. So we split time leaped at the start. Split, stun again. Okay? Huge burst. And look, we're going to catch up here DPS wise. This is where a lot of the damage is, because in phase 2, you do not have the pools on the ground. Okay? There's no crystals, there's no pools on the ground. So everyone just stands in this corner and does DPS. Even the aggro doesn't move. The aggro, by the way, does not have to face the corner. It just has to be in the corner. They can face left and it's totally fine. Just keep that in mind. You can stand on this purple statue because even if these gauges feel and the explosions happen, they don't hit hard. Okay? They do not hit hard. It is phase 2 is just straight tunnel DPS for a minute. Okay? And you'll see everyone will get to phase 3 around this Archon HP level. So again, make sure that you get to the statue in time during screen crack here. Don't want to leave too early though. But as you can see right here, right as this banner comes up, we're kind of already preemptively saying, watch the screen crack, we're moving. Okay? And then phase 3 is rinse and repeat for phase 1 as far as positioning. So for positioning, okay, you see the screen crack here? We had a hard time getting aggro, re-getting aggro, because look, no one's targeted, so whoever really attacks gets it, okay? And as a paladin with no cooldowns up, I was attacking it and just could not pull aggro. So it jumps around here just a little bit, but here's what we did right here. Just pay attention to this. So our goal was to have everyone but the aggro on this right corner. Basically in the right corner, waiting for these statues to turn white. Any of these. Obviously avoid the pools on the ground here. But you'll see, once we get situated, so they're all standing on the right, waiting for this pool to be gone, staying away from the boss, because the boss will actually hit here and turn this statue purple. You don't want that. So that's why, again, we're dragging the boss away from the team, away from the statues, so that they can cleanse. Look at this, like that statue turned purple. That statue turned purple from the attack. That statue turned purple from the attack. So this is just wasted time. But you'll see here, it's going to be wasted time for no matter what. Because look at this. Screen crack's coming. About 30, 45 seconds in. So ideally, in the perfect world, okay, we drag the boss left. Everyone stands on the statue, a white statue, and fills this gauge here in that 30 seconds before the screen crack. No one is attacking at all. It is not valuable to attack here because I'll talk about it later. The shield on the boss is 90% damage reduction. Okay, 15% per each stack, you'll say in the patch notes. Okay, so 6 stacks for 90% damage reduction. So even if you're attacking the boss, you're not doing any damage. Okay, so that's why it's important. Just make sure you have a white statue available for this screen crack. Be patient. Do not rush it. Iframes do not work for the screen crack. Okay, so you can see everyone filling their gauges here. that whole time, ideally as soon as possible, and then it lines up nicely where once the boss gets to the corner here, everyone's almost filled their gauge, or probably have, and they're making their way. Okay, and this is what we're talking about here. Oh, proc Devin's door. So this, once the gauge fills here, this goes off. And so the gauge is filled by a few ways. This standing on the white statue and attacking. Okay, there's two ways. There may be a third, but these are the main two ways. Standing on the statue and attacking the boss. Okay, and again, we're trying to get six stuns of this. So here's what happened. Look, the boss is stunned right now. This is just a normal stun. See a stun. Okay, so the crazy part about this is if you time it right, your stun's right, it is insane uptime on DPS. Okay, so we actually could have played this a little bit better too. So we have room to grow. But stun 10 seconds. Okay, you'll see the timer here. Then the shield is off. Okay, the shield is off, so we're getting full 100% damage. And then it goes into this position. It's kneeling. This comes up after 10 seconds, okay? Saying that the curtain came off. So they are on completely different cooldowns. When the actual shield comes off, when he's in this position, it's about 15, almost 20 seconds of uptime. So you can time it right, 30 straight seconds of DPS. So what we did, and I think this is where we could have did better, was we had, if your gauge is close to filling, you actually step off, okay? Because you don't want to put release this gauge, this stun, onto the boss that doesn't have the shield up, right? It's kind of wasted, and it takes a while to fill the gauge, okay? So I would say what we did sort of is what made it so successful, but it takes sacrifice from these players, right? Because look, he's going to be standing here for 13. From 513, doing no damage here. And he probably procced it there just by his passives. But look, he's just standing there for 13, 14, 15 seconds while this shield is back up. Okay, 16 seconds. That's a little bit too long, okay? But just now you got to understand how, if you can time it out right, that stun into this shield, knowing how long each of them last, you may be able to just DPS through it, right? But in our situation, they were patient. They played the role. We didn't know any better, right? But now we know. And then once the shield came back up, we hopped back on, and look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever that was, bang, shield's back down. Within, what was that? Within 7 seconds. So the shield comes up right about here, 57. So there's going to be a small window, right? It's going to be 5, 6, 7 seconds at the shortest. Okay? So at this time, the boss could dash right into everybody. The crystals could pop on the ground. All things can happen. You'll see it later on. But we get that shield off, even perfectly timed, within 6, 7 seconds. Okay? Now for 450 here, let's see how long it is between shields again. Okay? But this time, right, some of these shields are going off, but if the shields went off to break that shield, the stuns went off to break the shield, it takes a while to fill this gauge, okay? So from 450 here, people are standing off, 435, so 15 seconds, right? And then people, bang, perfect time. Look at that. Everyone just jumped back on. And again, 5, 6 seconds that time. What was that? Yeah. So even better timing. The team did a great job. So this is probably the strategy, right? 6 seconds. And the nice thing about this, guys, is that boss is actually supposed to spawn screen cracks over here during every 30, 45 seconds, 30-ish seconds. Okay? But because it's stunned here, it skips it. So here is where most people may get into issues, right? You see immediately as the statue comes off, aggro switched. Okay? Melee rings, it switched to melee rings, who's over here attacking. So look, the boss is going to face left and start attacking. So we're just telling the team, be careful, watch the pools on the ground, the crystals, and there it is. Bang. You can't even see it, but we were already preemptively talking about it, knowing that if it started facing right, crystals are coming. okay? So in this instance, it's not, the crystals pools aren't very long. It's about 3 seconds, I think. So don't overreact to it. But if you start dying here and it starts getting a little chaotic, the best thing to do is for them, these people, to stand on this statue. Make sure the gauge is filled and let this boss, even if this boss is attacking here, back and forth, it's not going to hit this statue ideally. So just, you can even go one statue further off to the edge, off the screen, to make sure that you are undisturbed with the gauge filling, because getting attacked and the purple actually will reduce it, okay? So we timed it perfectly there with that stun. Again, people did a great job just dodging the pool and then attacking and then coming back up and breaking the shield, and GG, right? Simple as that. The DPS is insane, right? But the mechanics are even better. The team, we had a plan, we were patient. People stepped off and did no DPS for 15, 20 seconds when the boss is just standing there stunned, risking their DPS in order to get that timing right, to proc those shields and reduce that downtime and just reduce the amount of chaos and crystals that the pools on the ground that can kill everybody, right? No one died in phase 3. So a lot of people that you see, if you watch their videos, it takes them 5 minutes here. It gets chaotic. People didn't know about this. They just brute forced it. So now that they know, hopefully, this boss is so straightforward, guys. Just be patient. Phase 1, do not rush into DPS. You can make up the DPS in phase 2. Phase 3, step off the boss, especially if you're the lower DPS. Like, these are like support by damage, right? Is a full 60 shade. People are stepping off early. These are main carries in most runs. Stepping off, taking the time to make sure that they're doing the mechanics right, and look at the results, right? Look at the results. So shout out to the team. I think it was very hard to do that, and we learned, right? Maybe they could have pushed through it. Maybe they could have proc the shield and still had it come up in time. Maybe. But each team is going to be different on how their composition is and their DPS and how much, sometimes they got to squeeze in that extra 10 seconds of DPS because they're running down to the timer, right? Each team is going to be different, but that is just what we did in our situation. We will, we'll have more teams with less gear that have to change things up. But I think the bones of the strategy and the mechanics are there, right? It's very easy for a top DPS, top 2 DPS, top 3 DPS to really carry this run and have the rest, the bottom 5, really just be those shield bearers, those breakers, stepping off, timing it perfectly to break that shield and allow the DPS to just stand there and tunnel and burst and DPS, not die, not worry about getting stunned or interrupted or anything, and just maximize your DPS. Play a role. If you're someone that's on the lower end of the DPS as well, play your role. Understand that. If you're the aggro, just stay alive. Stay alive, position. It's totally fine. Right? So hope this helps you guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll have more, obviously, hard Archon content. We're going to try to get more teams, clears, get on my Demon Slayer, things like that. Get people more playing the content, playing the boss. I hope this helps you guys get those clears and enjoy it, because once you get used to it, it's smooth sailing. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.